Jaylen Brown just realized he is teammates with the very man whose comments about his own son he once called out on camera. LeBron James just signed with the Philadelphia 76ers late in free agency. And everyone rushed to check Brown's name first, ignoring Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxi. 2 years of quiet tension, one blunt social media reaction, and a locker room left to figure it all out. This is how LeBron landing in Philly turned a silent rivalry into a loud public spectacle. Late on a Friday, the news dropped. Shams Charania of ESPN broke the news. Within minutes, the massive announcement was absolutely everywhere. Not Cleveland, where it all started, not Miami, where he built a dynasty, not even Golden State with those Stephen Curry rumors. Philadelphia. LeBron is officially joining the Sixers in a blockbuster late summer move, stacking a roster that was already highly dangerous. Instantly, expectations for next season shot completely through the roof. But the real drama waiting beneath the surface was the teammate already in Philly. Jaylen Brown, their other massive offseason acquisition, had thoughts. It did not take long for him to post them either. No press conference, no speech, just 4 words on social media: yaps, throw the ball up. Plain and simple. Maybe a little too simple. Because let's be real, these two have real history. Remember when lip readers caught Jaylen Brown criticizing Bronny James during a summer league game, questioning if the kid was NBA ready? That wasn't just internet rumor. It was Brown, caught dead on camera. LeBron absolutely heard it too. That moment lingered. Then, during this past season, LeBron fired right back. After a Lakers-Celtics game, when reporters asked about Jaylen, LeBron did not hold back. He brought up the Bronny drama completely on his own, and that went down months before either of them imagined they would end up sharing a roster. Jaylen was not the only one reacting. Tyrese Maxi, the young anchor of the Philly backcourt, found out in real time while working out. His response was pure shock. Wait, what? No filter, just disbelief. Soon, the frenzy reached way beyond the locker room. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro stepped in, officially declaring it LeBron James Day statewide. A politician celebrating a sports signing like that is wild. It just proved how massive this entire moment felt in the city of Philadelphia. And then there is Austin Rivers. Weeks earlier, when critics targeted Brown's game and attitude online, it wasn't a teammate who stood up for him. It was LeBron. James shared a clip of Rivers defending Jaylen, demanding respect for his legendary work ethic and elite talent on the court. That post raised eyebrows instantly. Why would LeBron publicly defend someone who had openly questioned his son's readiness for the league? Now, we had 4 different voices talking. Brown, Maxie, Shapiro, and Rivers, all speaking out within 48 hours, adding layer after layer to the growing narrative. Some saw LeBron trying to bury the hatchet and build a winner. Others read Brown's blunt social post and felt a cold vibe, like he was just saying what was mandatory, nothing more. But the story runs deeper. Philly wasn't even on LeBron's radar at first. Cleveland, Miami, and Golden State were the clear frontrunners early on. They weren't even in the mix until something shifted and it wasn't Embiid. It wasn't Maxie either. Everything changed when Philly traded for Jaylen on July 1st, sending Paul George 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks to Boston. Right after that, the front office initiated intense talks with Rich Paul. Suddenly, the Sixers were a prime destination by mid-July. Jaylen is the actual reason Philly became a reality for LeBron, meaning that lingering tension and those harsh comments about Bronny and that press conference drama were already looming before any practice took place. Here is the wildest part. Jaylen reportedly helped recruit him. So now, the biggest question mark isn't about talent. Embiid, Maxie, Brown, and LeBron on paper is elite. But what about real chemistry? Can 2 years of bad blood survive a grueling 82-game season when the media keeps bringing up Bronny every single week? To truly understand why that short social post from Jaylen hit so incredibly hard, go back to July 2024. Bronny James was playing Summer League for the Lakers, not dominating. He was just trying to prove he belonged, but the relentless spotlight on him dwarfed every other rookie in that gym. Because of the name on his back, Jaylen was watching, and he did not stay quiet. During Bronny's 2024 Summer League debut, Jaylen made his blunt opinion very clear to Angel Reese, saying Bronny did not look like he belonged in the league. Cameras caught the whole thing, and suddenly Angel Reese, who had absolutely zero to do with their beef, was sitting right there listening to one of the most brutally honest takes in recent memory. That clip went viral and cut deep. Inside sources claimed LeBron James was absolutely furious about what Jaylen Brown said about his son. Remember, this was not just standard rookie hazing. Bronny had just survived a major crisis. He suffered sudden cardiac arrest in July 2023 while practicing at USC. That changes the math. This was not just a rookie struggling. This was a teenager fighting his way back after nearly losing his life, clawing to find his game again less than 12 months later. LeBron took it personally. He felt an elite peer like Brown should have shown some empathy, knowing how long it takes for Bronny to recover both mentally and physically. But Jaylen never backtracked. No public apology, no clarification, just total silence. The shade hung in the air, lingering over both stars whenever their names were mentioned in the same breath. Fast forward to February 2026, and the drama resurfaced. Following a classic Lakers versus Celtics matchup, a reporter asked LeBron straight up about Brown. No escaping the question. And instead of giving a generic PR answer, LeBron addressed it head on. He claimed their relationship was respectful, but then he immediately brought up the expletive Jaylen used to describe Bronny during Summer League. LeBron explicitly highlighted the Vegas comments about his son, but added that outside of that, they were totally fine. Even if he tried to brush it off, bringing up a months-old grudge completely unprompted showed the disrespect was still eating at him. The media pushed harder, pressing him on whether they had actually cleared the air. LeBron's response was far from convincing, as he repeatedly muttered that they would be all right. He noted that Brown had posted some damage control online, but quickly added that Bronny still had a long journey ahead. Then he pivoted, acknowledging that Jaylen was playing great basketball. But repeating that they were fine 3 straight times raised eyebrows. That kind of forced repetition does not sound settled. It feels like a father trying to convince himself. He kept a smile plastered on his face for the cameras, but a grin does not mean the tension is gone, especially in high-pressure locker rooms where real resentment lingers just beneath the surface. And the timing of this is wild. Back in February, Jaylen was leading the rival Celtics. Nobody had any reason to think they would ever have to share a jersey. LeBron had no reason to protect a teammate back then. He was just a defensive father firing back at a rival star. But words in the NBA stick around. And then the entire landscape fractured. First came the blockbuster trade, then the signing. Within hours of LeBron heading to Philadelphia, that old February interview went viral all over again. That infamous Summer League footage resurfaced. Fans dissected every single angle of Jaylen talking trash. Podcasts replayed LeBron's press conference word for word. Now that viral forward tweet, "throw the ball up," was not being taken at face value anymore. Fans started overanalyzing the tweet. With all that baggage behind it, the post did not feel like a simple welcome. It felt incredibly tense. Sixers fans already thought landing Jaylen Brown was a massive win for the franchise. But adding LeBron blew the roof off. Now, everyone is debating whether this locker room will get incredibly awkward incredibly fast. And those worries are not baseless. They're built directly on LeBron's own public comments, made only months before he became Brown's teammate. And none of this drama happens without the blockbuster trade that sent Jaylen out of Boston. That franchise-altering deal shook up both the Celtics and the Sixers before LeBron even entered the picture. Everything traces back to that crucial day, June 30th, 2026. That was when Rich Paul officially notified the Lakers that James was leaving. From that exact moment, the dominoes fell fast. Just 24 hours later, the NBA landscape shifted again. The Philadelphia 76ers pulled off a monumental trade, snatching the 2024 Finals MVP away from the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown was heading to Philly, sent to the Sixers in exchange for Paul George and 4 first-round picks. Giving up that much draft capital and star power tells you exactly how highly Philly valued him, and here is where it gets crazy. That trade did not just change Philly, it completely shifted LeBron's final decision. A report from the Dallas Hoops Journal revealed that landing Jaylen Brown is exactly what convinced LeBron to sign. It was not the money or playing with Joel Embiid. It was having Jaylen on the roster. If that trade falls through, LeBron never signs with Philly. That is how simple it was. One source stated plainly that LeBron would not be in Philadelphia right now. LeBron would not be wearing a 76ers jersey today if they had not acquired Jaylen. That trade was the absolute catalyst for everything. Just let that sink, Meal. The exact player LeBron publicly clashed with over the Bronny incident is the sole reason he chose this franchise. That flips the whole story. This wasn't LeBron just accepting Brown as part of the deal. He chose a situation where Brown was already locked in. That means something big changed behind closed doors. And according to reports, it did. Sources told Dallas Hoops Journal that by early July, LeBron and Brown had squashed their beef and were actually on good terms. So good, Brown wasn't just sitting back. He was actively recruiting alongside Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxi, reportedly pushing hard to bring LeBron to Philly. He was on the phone, making the pitch, trying to secure the biggest name in basketball, and it worked. Embiid, Brown, and Maxi formed a recruiting trio that landed LeBron. But here's the catch. Recruiting a star and having real chemistry are completely different things. Teams have seen this movie before. Players can smile during meetings, say all the right things, and then struggle once the season starts. There's also another detail people keep missing. Reports never name Brown as the lead recruiter. He was involved, yes, but not the driving voice. That gap matters. There's a massive difference between simply helping and actually making the whole thing happen. That gray area leaves endless room for questions, and that's exactly what keeps this story alive. But make no mistake, this trade created serious power. LeBron's final decision came down to a razor-thin race. Philly, Miami, and Cleveland were his real options. Golden State was talked about for years, but never seriously in play. Sources said LeBron went back and forth between those three teams. And here's another twist. He didn't even tell his own agent, Rich Paul, about his final decision until 1 hour past midnight on July 24th. Talk about absolute last-second pressure. That's not someone who had it all figured out early. Whatever made him choose Philly, it came down to the absolute wire. And Philly only became a real option after Brown was already there. That timing says everything. So, what did LeBron really sign up for? Not just teaming up with someone he once clashed with, but stepping right into a championship pressure cooker. Philadelphia is notoriously tough on superstars. Partnerships have crumbled under pressure here before, but the talent is absolutely undeniable. Tyrese Maxi averaged 28.3 points last season. Brown added 22.4. Embiid averaged 24.5 and 9.8 boards. At 41, LeBron still delivered 20.9, 7.2 assists, and 6.1 rebounds. 4 elite bettors, all needing the ball, all expected to produce, now sharing one floor. That's where things either gel or completely blow up. On paper, the Sixers look absolutely loaded right now. LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxi, and rising young guard VJ Edgecombe. That's 5 players who could easily be the top option on separate teams. But real basketball doesn't work that way. Shots will get cut, roles will shrink, somebody's losing the spotlight. And let's be completely real that somebody could easily be Jaylen Brown. This isn't some minor issue. Brown spent years in Boston fighting to prove he wasn't just a second option. Now he walks into a situation where he might be 4th in the offensive pecking order. That is not why he left Boston. Talk about ultimate irony. Brown hated being viewed as second in command with the Celtics, and now he could slip even lower in Philly's pecking order. Behind LeBron, behind Embiid, and behind Maxie. That's a brutal reality check. Brown didn't change addresses just to fade away. With this roster, it's a real threat. And the tension is already building. LeBron didn't just join any team, he joined a direct rival to Boston. That changes everything. Brown spent years building something with the Celtics. Now he's on the opposite side. And standing right next to him is the guy who once publicly targeted his family. Together, they are now poised to go against Boston. Last season, the Sixers finished 45-37, getting bounced by New York in the second round. Look at them now. No longer a playoff hopeful, this is championship or bust. And in Philly, that pressure hits on a different level. The Sixers haven't won a title since 1983. They haven't even reached the conference finals since 2001. That's decades of deep fan frustration. So this lineup isn't a test run, it's strictly championship or bust. And for LeBron, the stakes are on another planet. If he wins a title in Philly, he becomes the first player in NBA history to win championships with 4 different franchises. That's legacy defining. That's ultimate history. And when the stakes get that big, every small issue suddenly feels massive. Every awkward moment, every old comment, every post-game interview. It all matters so much more when a championship is on the line. And here's the wild part. LeBron didn't even need this. He's already done everything. At 41 in season 23, he averaged 20.9 points, 6.1 boards, and 7.2 assists. That isn't normal. We are talking about a 4-time MVP, 4-time champion, 4-time finals MVP, and the all-time leader in points, field goals, minutes, and games, with 21 All-NBA selections and 22 All-Star appearances. He has absolutely nothing left to prove, yet he still chose this. He willingly walked right into a locker room heavy with history, tension, and unanswered questions. A huge part of that decision came down to the roster, especially with Brown there. Plus, there is a real personal angle to this. Philly is where Allen Iverson, one of LeBron's closest friends, built his legendary career. That deep connection adds meaning, but meaning doesn't make things any easier on the court. An 82-game season is a long grind, sharing the ball, sharing the spotlight, constantly answering the same repetitive questions, especially all the noise about Bronny. That's where things can wear down even the strongest teams. So where does that leave LeBron and Brown? Not perfect, but not broken. They are somewhere in the middle, complicated, real, and still unfolding. But before any of this, there were clear moments of respect. LeBron had publicly praised Brown's game. He said Brown deserves serious MVP consideration for carrying Boston through a brutal year, and Brown called that praise a true honor. Remember, that happened while they were still bitter rivals. That respect was genuine, but it didn't erase what was said about Bronny. Both of those realities exist at the exact same time. Respect and tension, side by side. Now, their dynamic must change. The rivalry is over. They are teammates now, chasing a championship, and here's the wild twist at the center of everything. The very trade that brought Brown to Philly, sparking all this tension, is the exact reason LeBron even considered signing there in the first place. That is the ultimate paradox. And Brown's story doesn't end there. Ever since leaving Boston, he has been one of the most talked about players in basketball. His play, his stats, his personality, literally everything is up for debate. So, when LeBron shared that clip of Austin Rivers defending Brown, it wasn't just some random post, it wasn't just basic support. It piled another layer onto a situation already loaded with questions. This wasn't random. This was LeBron using his massive platform to quiet the noise around a player he now has to trust on the hardwood. No matter what went down before, winning requires them to be totally locked in together. Yet that Bronny situation still hangs over them. It never completely faded away. Brown's old comments could even impact future roster moves, like whether the Sixers would ever dream of bringing Bronny into that locker room. That is a massive cloud hanging over every decision going forward. Absolutely nothing has been fully resolved here. It has just been swept under the rug for now. LeBron actually addressed it head-on back in February, telling a reporter directly, months before this roster even became a reality. As for Brown, he never apologized or walked it back. He just dropped those 4 words, yaps, throw the ball up, and left the rest of us to decode his meaning. That isn't 2 guys just forgetting the past. That is 2 players choosing to lock in on the ultimate goal despite the lingering tension. And they are doing it right in front of the cameras, the city, and the fans, who are micro-analyzing every single look, trying to figure out what is real. Philly got exactly what it wanted. A brand new super team, a massive spotlight, and one of the loudest off seasons in NBA history. But they also inherited something else. 2 superstars who have already proven they will speak their minds about each other publicly. No filters, no holding back. Now the roster is finalized, but absolutely nothing is proven yet. Whatever unresolved tension remains between LeBron and Brown is bound to bubble up eventually. Maybe it's a missed shot or a bad late game decision. Maybe it's just one locker room question at the wrong time. That's when this whole thing gets tested. If you made it this far, let me know your thoughts on this situation. Let's get a discussion going in the comments. Can this partnership actually work, or is it a ticking time bomb? I will see you all in the next one.